Hold up, I ain't trying to stump, man, but the Yeezys jumped over the jump, man. I be in and out of arenas like I'm Scottie Pippen. Left my elbow in the pot, a la Vince Carter.
Bitch, you wasn't with me shooting in the gym?
James Harden with the range on me, nigga, way back.
Coach, they won't knock me off my pivot, get it.
Been flowing stupid since Vince Carter was on some through the legs arm and a hoop shit.
And you can live through anything if magic made it.
Ladies and gentlemen, if you don't know, now you do.
Yes, sir. We are back. Round of applause for yourselves. This is your guy, Marcellus Ease, and we got some great stuff on the docket for today. Steve Nash and Kevin Durant reflect on their time of what happened in Brooklyn, while Kyrie Irving debunks a few things that they had said and reveals the truth on some of the animosity that was left over. Paul George is finding out the hard way. Playing basketball in the Northeast, those fan bases take the outcomes of their teams very personal. As Philadelphia's own Gillie from the $1 Million Worth of Game podcast had applied pressure on Paul George about this season's results, and he implies with no filter that the 76ers should just rebuild. Speaking of animosity, Draymond Green is still on his fake apology tour for the incident that took place with Jordan Poole. At first, it looked like Draymond had peace offerings, but it contradicted his actions when he tried to utilize a situation in which Jordan Poole spoke out about missing certain players upon his visit back to Golden State. Big Body Dre tried to capitalize and use that as an opportunity to springboard his podcast, and he, along with Baron Davis, threw some shade at Jordan Poole, while at the same time try to hit him up with the fake apology again. And finally, Giannis, the Greek freak, is still throwing all these smoke screens to distract fans from realizing that he gave Damian Lillard the boot. We'll touch base on how he tried to use iShowSpeed's live stream to make it seem like things are not good in Milwaukee, while at the same time, the Bucks and Giannis are definitely in unison about their future. So Kevin Durant has sat down with Steve Nash and they reflected on their days in Brooklyn. And ironic enough, Kyrie Irving was able to apply a rebuttal to their conversation. But these are interesting times in this new media landscape where a lot of players have their ability to push their own narratives. And let's not forget, the Kevin Durant and Kyrie Irving Brooklyn experience was the peak of player movement and guys forcing trades and getting their way. So first, we're going to check out what Steve Nash and Kevin Durant had to say about the experience, and then we'll get to Kyrie Irving. So you guys check it out, and every once in a while, I'll check in.
And I'm like, who am I spending my next 5 years with? I had just signed that deal. You had just signed the deal. But I feel like we were secure, but everything else around us was going to shit. Not in a bad way. We got GMs going to other teams. We got coaches going to other teams. We got players forcing trades. We got bringing Ben Simmons. He's back. Like, it was just so much
stuff going on.
Bullshit around us. I feel like we were locked in on the same page and understand, like, well, we're trying to do something special here. And I felt like your hands were tied a lot because you had to, as a coach, you got to deal with so much. You
didn't get to coach as much as I wanted to.
That's what it was. I didn't think we didn't get the full Steve Nash like I wanted, like you probably wanted. I just felt like it was just too much, too many distractions in a way. And you know, you can't win that way. And but I felt like we had great intentions though. I felt like we cared enough. I felt like every day we were trying to push towards winning the champ. It was a great vibe in there. It's some of the best times. That first year, that's why I signed that deal. That first year, man, most fun ball I had. Some of the most fun ball I had playing my whole life. I enjoyed it. I enjoyed Brooklyn a lot. I love playing for Brooklyn, but it's just so much
stuff happened
around the.
And also lack of infrastructure. The Brooklyn Nets, structurally, they were not ready to receive two megastars like that. You see, winning a championship is more than just how much you're paying to get players. It's also about having the personnel there to hold guys accountable. When you have Kyrie Irving making statements like, I can be the coach, KD can be the coach, you start to see small signs of where things could end up butting heads. If there's no hierarchy in the organization and everyone just on some happy to be here shit, wow, KD, Kyrie, you guys chose us without even speaking to us. This is how unplanned this whole KD and Kyrie Irving saga was in Brooklyn.
around the guys that were committed to the situation. I felt like we were committed, but everybody else wasn't. It just was weird.
Sometimes I feel like I let you guys down in a way, and then I think about everything that happened.
Come on, man. That
You
shit
know, like
was...
we had a 3-star roster. You know, the cap is team 3 stars. Played 16 games together.
We balled out every game we played together.
You know,
Don't let that slide right there. They only played 16 games together. James Harden, Kyrie Irving, and Kevin Durant. Only 16 games together. That is insane. And we got to shoot the Brooklyn Nets some bail. The pandemic happening derailed their situation a little bit. But also being in New York City, there's a lot of politics that come with that. And as we've seen it play out with Kyrie Irving and the mayor, a lot of politicking going on over the jab situation. But the mayor at the time, Eric Adams, was trying to make a point and was virtue signaling to the higher ups of his particular political party that he was pro-jab. But once again, they kind of fell into a rut with the politics of the city and the jab mandate in New York City at the time not making any sense. The Nets players had to have taken it. Meanwhile, while the visiting team didn't necessarily have to abide by those rules, but at the same time, they got to participate in playing in the games and just being in the arena with the fans. None of it made sense. That's why at the end, it all got abolished.
that's one. You know, you could go down the list and add all these things, and for me, I end up feeling like I'm making excuses. Reality is, from my perspective, I feel a little bit like I let everyone down, but then I realized there's so much to me, and I just wish I had more of a chance to develop as a coach.
I think so too. I just think your hands were tied too many times. You had to be a principal more so than anything. You know what I'm saying? Like, you just couldn't like inject your basketball, just everything that you have basketball. I didn't feel like you could inject that into everybody in the way that we all envisioned. You know what I'm saying? Just because of the distractions, COVID, injuries. More than anything, I think it's injuries. I feel like we had a good chance to win that first year.
But we were injured.
And
James shouldn't have been playing. He was on one leg.
Kyrie
Kai was
got
out.
hurt.
Jeff Green was in and out.
Yeah,
And he
so
played great.
I think more than anything, I think we had a great chance to win it that year or step on the line. But yeah, it's just
It's life.
Yeah, that was the closest that they got. Yeah, unfortunate for Kevin Durant, his foot on the line, but that was a hell of a series against Giannis, who had one of the greatest playoff runs ever.
some shit happens that way, man. Like,
Right?
but I don't think that should be an indictment on anybody. It's just
Life.
like people don't understand context though,
Right.
man, and what truly happens and how you need to really be, be connected as a group. Like, it just looked at the names and thought it's supposed to be perfect.
And people always think like you said, without context, but also they want to come in over the top and say, they didn't do it, they didn't do this, they didn't do that. I think for guys like that go every day, like even our approach to our routines, it's war.
Every day.
We're not afraid to lose.
Yeah,
right. You know what I mean?
exactly,
So when we
bro.
lose, it doesn't work out. We're not at home and everyone's like, they're killing. We don't think about that, right? We think about like taking on the chin. Let's get ready for whatever the next war is,
We
right?
going putting our boots back on the next year. Like, that's always been a mentality. But the dialogue around the league, the discourse around the league, they don't truly appreciate the journey sometimes of what goes on. Even the ones that don't work out, you can still see some beauty in the Sacramento Kings that didn't win the chip,
Right.
or your Phoenix Suns that didn't win the championship. Like, it's if you really love the game of basketball, you can pull great things from all of that stuff, and that's what I tend to do with that Brooklyn situation.
Kevin Durant is 100% right on that. Unfortunately, because of the sports debate culture that exists right now off of the backs of First Take, the storylines and the journey does not get appreciated as much. And in this whole Kyrie Irving and Kevin Durant saga in Brooklyn, there's a lot of major milestones from it. The number one I could think of fresh off of my head is the fact that this was truly the end of the era of stars formulating their own big three and choosing their own personnel and coaches. It doesn't get talked about too much, but the fact that Kevin Durant has signed that extension and then asked for a trade, that was egregious. And we're seeing the results of that now with this new CBA, the way the owners strategically got rid of player movement. You see, the NBA under this new television deal is going to be very rare to see certain superstars hit free agency. Just look at the past couple of seasons. Paul George is really notably the only player to hit free agency as quote-unquote a star. And out of desperation, the 76ers gave him that 5-year deal. So when we look at Anthony Davis wanting out of New Orleans, Kevin Durant signing a fresh new extension in Brooklyn, then asking for a trade, all these things accumulated to the situation the league is in now, where you don't see too many guys moving from team to team.
We had some fun times. We had some terrible times, but that's life. Like that's
life.
what makes you a better human being. But for the most, I mean, if I'm being honest, we had more good times than that. Even the times when it was me and 4 two-way, like it was fun to me. Like
we were successful.
Like because we locked in as a family, just us for that little 48 minutes, and like a lot of those games were like you know. High pressure games, late games. I'm sure those, you know, even me, I learned from. But those young guys took a lot from that too. So I look at the season like that a lot. Of course, we want to win and go to the chip, but it's little small moments that I can appreciate throughout a year, even though we don't add up to winning. And a lot of people don't understand that. But we that shit is in our DNA and our blood. Like we look at the game of ball like that.
So after seeing the sit down between Kevin Durant and Steve Nash, Kyrie Irving offered up his rebuttal to the situation in Brooklyn. And once again, we're in an interesting media landscape right now where the pettiness out of the NBA, a lot of the pettiness that goes on in these locker rooms, eventually is going to trickle down to the podcast space. But right here, Kyrie gives great insight into how this whole Brooklyn ordeal kind of started and him not actually speaking to the Nets front office. You guys check it out, and every once in a while, I'll check in.
With the Nets front office one time. I didn't meet with the GM one time, the assistant GM one time. Literally, when I look back at that decision, I'm like, man, I should have taken some more time to delegate and figure out what's best for me. You know, KD had just tore his Achilles in the finals. Me and him were, you know, planning on doing things to go to Brooklyn, right? I don't know any of you guys that would still stick it out with one of your friends that tears their Achilles and wait a year and a half for them to get healthy, but I'm that dude. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not about to leave K out there after a torn Achilles and be like, nah, fuck that. We not going to play together anymore. I waited for my brother to get healthy. You know what I'm saying? And now Brooklyn, I wish that we got a chance to get to know them beforehand because they wasn't fucking with me like that. You know? And that's just me. That's my perspective. Now, did they want me on the team? Sure.
Now, Kyrie right there admitted something that we all kind of figured. Kevin Durant's that beautiful girl at the club, but your boy that's with you got to take one for the team and talk to her ugly friend, which is Kyrie Irving. And you could tell from the way they treated Kyrie throughout this whole saga. They were not happy about him not taking the jab. And when it came time for those extension talks, it got real quiet.
Kenny Atkinson wasn't fucking with me like that, bro. Nets didn't want me like that. They wanted K. And that's my vantage point, right? This is the information that I gathered after I left. And again, this is not about Brooklyn. It's just about business. I wish I would have handled the business better and got a chance to know them first. Ask them questions. Hey, what's the future like? Instead of just committing blindly and thinking that, hey, we about to come in here and just do X, Y, and Z.
Now, right here, we got to add some context into why Kyrie came into the situation blindly. That's how strong it was at the time for superstar players to actually command where they want to go. Player movement at this time was at an all-time high, and a lot of superstars did not see any repercussions for demanding trades and going to different teams, regardless of how the situation played out, good or bad. They got paid and they got what they wanted. So let's keep this in mind. This was at the height of player movement.
Right? I didn't have much power going in there. I couldn't say who we could get and who we could not get. I couldn't hire the coach, or if we, you know, you guys knew my opinion on the head coach at the time, right? It wasn't perfect, but it was very immature, right? I was very immature at that point. I'm 27, 28. I'm leaving Boston, feeling good about going back home. You know, I'm hype. You know what I'm saying? I'm signing, you know what I mean? I left my management company, went to Rock Nation at that point, ended up leaving Rock Nation 2 years after that. I signed with them, you know what I'm saying? Like, it just,
a lot of changes were going on. I had teammates, I had friendship changes, but I'm gonna get back to the point, right? When I was in Brooklyn, I just look back at that business decision like, yo, get to know the front office before you make any decision. It's just, it's yeah. Now, it was a lot happening, you guys. Trust me. Hey, a lot of tentacles in the...
Again, Kyrie entered into the Brooklyn Nets situation with a lot of leverage. But at the same time, yeah, they did have their own plans. But here he is again, reacting to some of the comments that Steve Nash and KD had, reflecting on their time in Brooklyn.
Around the guys that were committed to the situation, I felt like we were committed, but everybody else wasn't. It just was weird.
Nah, see, this was the part where I honestly looked at it and I was like, when he said this, emotionally I was like, okay, we're all committed to the goal at the end of the day, but sometimes not everybody's gonna follow what you want them to do.
And this is where KD gets caught up at, because Kyrie is his own man's. And they actually had one too many people in that locker room that was way too headstrong. Spencer Dinwiddie is another player. He does not like to be told what to do. And KD does not have strong enough leadership skills to lead a group of men like that. He's proved it throughout his whole career. Just look at how the Nets situation played out. He never took onus from the team. He never spoke to Kyrie man to man. This isn't working out. We're going to trade you and then we're going to move on. Instead, he signs an extension and then double back and asks for a trade. Makes no sense. They gave you the keys to the franchise. Take onus for it.
Wish I had my soundboard for this, but like, not everybody's gonna do what you want them to do, and I've had to accept that as a human being and as a leader. Not everybody's gonna do what you want them to do. Not everybody's gonna be committed the way you want them to be committed, right? And it's not like Kay is asking me for this, but it's like I asked for this commitment before I committed to Brooklyn from him, which was a beautiful thing. I'm like, yo, let's commit to this thing. We could build up Brooklyn. We could really put Brooklyn on the map. You know, nobody's really thinking about Brooklyn. But when he said that, I'm like, bro, Steve wasn't even in the play yet. But this is your man's. This is your man. So I got to support that. This is your man's. Cool. You want him? Cool. You like Steve? I love Steve. You know what I'm saying?
Now, that's the interesting dynamic right there. No wonder Kyrie made those comments, hey, KD can coach, I can coach. There was a level of contempt for the coaching hire. Ironic enough, the Nets had the exact coach that they needed the whole time, and Ime Udoka is one of the assistants. God damn, they kind of had it made, because even Mike D'Antoni was one of the assistant coaches also. Again, just because a team has a lot of resources with no infrastructure, no hierarchy, it's going to be complete chaos. Winning a championship is just way more than the personnel you can buy. It's having a system in place to hold players accountable, and the Nets did not have that.
Cool. As a younger brother, I'm like, okay, I don't care. That's fine. You want Steve to coach, that's fine. But when you're committed to the same goal and then a year changes things and then things going behind the scenes, like, come on.
But everybody else wasn't. It just was weird.
Yeah, it was weird timing, bro. It was weird for everybody. It was weird for everybody, y'all.
Now, the timing was weird for everybody because Caris LeVert, I believe they had a small forward, Harris. He was on his A game. Spencer Dinwiddie. A lot of these guys the season before had nice roles with the Nets, and they were in a building stage. When all of a sudden, out of nowhere, no one even knew, now they're getting some of the top players in the league, and they have championship expectations. The situation in Brooklyn was definitely out of whack. It was out of sorts. So with that being very noticeable, even guys like James Harden, when they joined the team, he's made comments alluding to the situation structurally within the organization was all over the place. And Kyrie Irving right here speaks on it, including when Ben Simmons was put into this already chaotic equation.
The landscape of where Ben was at, right? I don't think we knew where Ben was at. So when that trade happened, it shocked a lot of people. It shocked me. I was talking to James one day. I'm like, shit, bro, we about to go with these championships. And it was like a day later, asked for a trade. I was like, oh, shoot, okay. Shit like that now. Okay, I can't be mad. I'm not going to ever be mad at someone doing what's best for them, right? And shout out to James, right? And I've had my conversation with James, and I told him, I said, bro, I understood completely.
And let's add more context to that. James Harden actually rejected his extension with the Nets. They actually offered him that. At the end of the day, he did want that money, but he didn't want it from the Nets. And unfortunate for him, it was hard for him to get that same extension going forward. But at the time, player movement was at an all-time high, and the superstars had all the leverage. And also, James Harden was coming from an organization that was a little bit more grounded. In the last couple of seasons prior then, he was in Houston, and they were consistently at the top of the Western Conference, making deep playoff runs. So there's a structure that comes with that. And him going into Brooklyn, he probably didn't see any of it. And right here, Kyrie Irving speaks on it.
Other teams, we got coaches going to other teams.
Yep, and he's talking about coaches going to the team. Ime Udoka literally went to the Boston Celtics after coaching with us. That was crazy, bro. You know, that was crazy. We had Ime Udoka literally go to Boston the next year.
It was already crazy you guys hired Steve Nash over Ime. Everyone knew he came from that Greg Popovich tree, and at the time, he was a highly coveted assistant coach. They knew he was going to be a great head coach already. There was plenty of rumblings around the league about him. So what he did in Boston didn't come by any surprise.
I mean, like, you got coaches leaving other teams, and it wasn't anybody's fault. It's just opportunity. But we're in the same division. Can you imagine going against the coach that literally saw all of our strengths and weaknesses, and now we're playing against them?
Exactly. And also, let's go to the James Harden situation. Why make a trade in the same division for a player like Ben Simmons, who clearly had a mental breakdown in the playoffs? His confidence at the time was at an all-time low. Why insert him into that chaos? If you're going to trade James Harden away, trade him away out of your division. Nothing the Nets did made sense. They were just too all over the place. Once again, the Nets were like that dorky guy that's dating the hottest chick in the school, but then he doesn't really know how to handle it. That's the exact scenario that they were in with KD. When expectations come with no organizational structure, it's just straight chaos.
You know what I'm saying? So Boston was ready for us. Ime had them ready, had the Celtics ready, dog. When we played them in the 2022 playoffs, shit got wild. Shit got wild, y'all. For sure, shit got wild. So we had a lot going on. KD is right. That's what I'm saying. When I said I'm gonna address this on stream, it literally was just about doing this and having fun with it and letting people know. Okay. You know, letting people know like what it is. That's all.
Now, Kyrie right there had a quick pause and he looked at his phone. That's because his agent was letting him know that he was saying too much while being on that stream. We all love that Kyrie Irving speaks from his heart, but you know, him being in the league, they still got to play it cool.
I'd like to just say this as a disclaimer, okay? Me and KD are not beefing. I'm not beefing with Steve Nash. I'm not beefing with anybody, you guys. All right, this is not personal against KD.
Hey, the NBA is a petty league, and when you insert this brand new media dynamic with the technology evolving so much that all these guys have their own platforms, it allows for a brand new channel for a lot of that pettiness to actually catch on fire and just get everywhere. So not all franchises are built the same. Some of them have structures organizationally, like the Miami Heat, where if guys like KD and Kyrie came in, their feet get held to the fire to certain standards and certain guidelines. The Nets clearly are a franchise that were happy that the hottest girl in the league was able to come to them, but they were not prepared organizationally. And it showed. And it definitely showed. The pandemic, Kyrie Irving, James Harden, Ben Simmons. It's just a lot of chaotic factors coming into that building with already no structure. It's just a complete shit show, and it was definitely a fiasco, but there were some good moments. Some flashes of brilliance. Kyrie Irving that first season had brilliant games where he put on a scoring clinic. And Kevin Durant in 2021, even though they had a whole bunch of injuries, brought him very close to getting into the finals. But sometimes sagas like this are not really meant to last long. So Paul George is in a very interesting situation in Philly. In the offseason prior, he leveraged his situation as being the only available star in free agency to land a lucrative 5-year deal with the 76ers. But being out there in the Northeast, there's something about New York, Philly, and Boston fans. They take their sports very personal, And as of recent, Paul George is learning this the hard way. With the 76ers struggling, he was sort of bullied into stop podcasting during the season. And in the 41 games that he appeared on, he did not look like his usual self. He averaged 32 minutes a game and only 16 points, and his shooting percentages were very low. So unlike his previous stops with the Thunder and the Clippers, East Coast fans are very front-facing, and they're going to let you know when you're fucking up. One of Philly's own, Gillie, from the $1 Million Worth of Game podcast, has sat down with Paul George. And once again, in the East Coast, the fan bases are front-facing and they take their sports personal.
And I hate to be harsh, man, but I gotta speak what's the real, how we feeling, man. Bro, you played damn near just as many games as you didn't play, bro. And it's getting to the point now where it's like, man, fuck that shit, man. Rebuild all this shit, man. Because we don't even know if our motherfucking best player gonna be available, man. Like, it ain't no doubt to me that Joel Embiid is the best fucking player on the planet. I say that all the fucking time. The only difference is we don't know what the fuck we gonna get every night, man. Oh, we might come out one night, I'm about to give you motherfuckers 50 and 20. Come on in. And we might come out the next night and he might just settle for 17-footers all day. The one thing about Giannis is you know you gonna get maximum fucking effort every fucking night, man. So that just be my problem, bro. Philadelphia, we like to see effort. Allen Iverson didn't win shit. He will always be the GOAT around this motherfucker because he put in 100% effort. He left everything on the floor. It's not because he won. It's not Brian Dawkins never won shit around here. He will always be a GOAT because when our eyes looked at Brian Dawkins, it said he gives up maximum fucking effort every single time.
Every snap.
Every snap. Jason Kelsey, same thing. It's motherfuckers around there that you be like, why are they GOATs? Because when we watch them, we watch him give up maximum effort and put their fucking life on the line. And we fucking respect that. We a hard-working fucking city that ain't got shit, bro. You gotta understand, when the Eagles lose, it feel like your fucking cousin died, bro.
And I feel Gillie on that. Me and myself, I come out of New York City, and we are exactly the same way. That's why players who were never even considered mega stars can go anywhere around the city even today and be treated like rock stars. And that's because in the East Coast, they respect hustle and effort. The Northeast, unlike other cities, when fans want to go to these games, everything is a battle. They got to fight in the train. They got to fight through traffic. They got to go through crowds of people. It's a hustle. It's a finesse. So to go to the games and see players get paid big money and you don't know what you're getting from night to night and the effort really doesn't look like it's there, it's going to be an issue. So for Gillie right here to tell Paul George to his face on his own podcast that the 76ers should rebuild, what is he really saying? It might come off to Paul George as a little bit abrasive, but in the East Coast, this is normal. And Paul George is slowly learning that. And we got to talk about the optics. It just doesn't look right when the 76ers are struggling like this and he's podcasting. And the noise is starting to get louder and louder as Paul George had addressed it at a conference he was doing for, I believe it was a Boys and Girls Club charity event.
When I started my podcast, I knew there was going to be some backlash. I knew there were going to be people that had things to say about it. He's an athlete. He should be in the gym 24 hours out of the day. But to be honest, it's therapeutic. It's a chance for me to talk about things that go on in sports that I probably would hold on to.
It may be therapeutic to him, but in a city where the team's losing and they take their sports really personal, it's going to come off as offensive. See, LeBron James can go about his endeavors the way he does because we know there's 100% commitment to his efforts on the court. A lot of these guys came behind LeBron James and coasted on the player movement, not really living up to expectations, reaping all the benefits of those things, starting their own business ventures, podcasting during the season, but yet they never really had their feet held to the fire. Gilbert Arenas and his crew sat down and spoke about Paul George podcasting during the season without any on-court success. And they had some pretty interesting perspectives. You guys check it out, and every once in a while, I'll check in.
That the mentality of saying, after a tough loss with your team and saying that we don't have no identity, we don't have this, we don't have that. As a clear guy that's supposed to be the leader, as a guy who's been prepared and has trained to be in this position to be a leader, come in and be the savior, right? To relinquish that opportunity of leadership and then go still pod the whole time while going through these things with the team, you show where priority lays, right? So if he does this at the beginning of the season instead of when they're trying to find contention, imagine how much more focused the team will be. We said, is it a smart thing for any player to do it when you're trying to be in a competitive landscape with teammates who don't do it? So I'm looking at you crazy if you go pod and your performance on your pod is better than your performance in the game. I'm saying if it's obvious because the podcast is top 5.
Very good podcast.
And the Sixers are not. Look, I'm appreciating him getting the message because he know that Kobe shit resonate. We don't play that shit, man. He got to put it on himself, put it on his shoulders, and go get it. And I think last night he sent a message to his team that the last 4 games, it was like, I think 17, 19, 17, and then he busts out for 27, and he's like, all right, I'm focused now.
You see how up and down Paul George's stats are? I mean, he finished the season shooting 43% from the field and 35% from 3. So very mediocre stats coming from a guy who's basically on a max contract off of free agency. And also he did this while playing 41 games and playing 32 minutes a night.
A little bit too late, but it's a step forward. It's a step forward. I seen it. I seen the energy. So I commend him for taking the effort, putting priority first.
You need that little spark.
Yeah, you need that spark. Does somebody just kind of say like, man, what's up? You really think that's gonna fly with the elders? Nigga, that don't fly with the elders. Because there is no leader there. If Embiid's the leader, he's down. If Max is not old enough and ready yet, that means you're the only one there that can be the leader. You can never say in that role, man, we gotta figure it out and find it. Nah, you gotta say, man, it's on me. Next time it's gonna be on me.
He's stopping the podcast to get focused, to get back to championship contention. What year were they ever in championship contention? They've lost the first round, second round every year. The whole team can fucking podcast. It don't matter. I mean, shit.
I love it.
Because just focusing on basketball, that's what they've been doing for the last 8, 9 years, and we see where it got them.
Where did it get him, Gil? Where exactly did it get him? His stints in OKC were underperforming. The last great run he had was almost when he finished top 3 in MVP in OKC. Other than that, they underperformed in the playoffs. They lost to a Damian Lillard team that barely plays any defense. They got eliminated in the first round against Donovan Mitchell as a rookie. And even to this day, he still struggles in the playoffs to live up to what he did that season. And then he went to the Clippers where they underperformed in the 2020 bubble. And then right before he joined the 76ers, 2 out of the last 3 playoff series that he's been in with the Clippers, his performances were underwhelming. So yeah, he's been cashing those large checks, but the expectations have not really added up.
If you're gonna stop podcasting, are you gonna stop doing interviews too? Because it's the same thing. Instead of interviewing with them, you're doing an interview with your own people. So it's the same concept. So the fact that this is even a topic for media, is podcasts getting in his way? He should just respond. Is doing interviews with you motherfuckers getting in my way?
That's not.
You guys drain me more. I got to do an interview before the game, after the game, before practice, after practice.
That's it.
All week.
Right. That's not.
Now, Gil, sometimes this is my issue with his show, is that sometimes he tries to find an argument, but he himself knows right here it's part of the players' union agreement with the league that the players have to participate in media-based activities. So this is a bullshit argument by Gil, but this is what he does on his show. He's fishing for to go viral.
You don't exert energy
Right, that's
going
not the
to
same.
the pod, setting up the pod.
Right,
I got to
getting
sit
guests.
here, get the guests on.
Gotta-
We got to do this from 2 to 2. And
I got a 45-minute podcast.
I could be
That
using
I
that.
just got to hit the Zoom button.
Okay, 45 minutes. You could be looking at doing film or being in the gym.
If you're injury prone.
Yeah.
That's perfect for me.
It's not perfect for shit if you're not. But you're supposed to be going through physical therapy. If you really serious,
Nobody plays.
you icing. If you really down, you icing 3 to 4 times a day. You doing your therapy 3 times a day. If you're trying to get back.
But I got to interview before practice or after practice, before games, after games.
But you still got to do that, so why double it?
You're telling me I can't spend 45 minutes talking to my fans.
No, you can't. No.
But I can spend 2 hours talking to my fans through their lens.
Yep. Yeah.
Okay, so when you get home, what's the difference between playing video games and talking on the pod?
He would have never backed out if it wasn't a distraction.
So just swag it
On a podcast, that's once a week.
Once a week.
I got to do this interviews with them every single day.
Everybody in
in
league.
45 minutes, not a day, 45 minutes per week.
If we losing, I don't want to see you on the podcast smiling, feeling good, and having a good old time.
What if he has a serious face on the podcast?
It's like you gotta be serious 24 hours a day.
When you under contract at $50 million,
so when you
and
go
we
home
losing,
playing the video game,
if we
you can't
winning,
do shit
if
but
we
play
winning,
basketball all day.
if we winning, yeah.
Like when you go home, basketball.
Hey, if we
lay in the bed, shoot the ball in the air with the basketball. 24 hours.
If we winning.
Come on, man.
You know a winning culture allow you the leisure. You get the leisure of doing things. But when you losing, why would you want the leisure of doing that?
If he putting in the work.
No, but why would you want the work?
He losing. I understand it's happening now because he's losing, so people's trying to pick at it, but
they have to make an adjustment, though.
But
you have to make an adjustment.
But they've been losing, though. The Clippers, they were losing, too.
You ain't got to go show us. You ain't got to go get attention for this. Listen, you got to go prove that you the guy you say you
Never
are.
lost.
Right, that 200 million. That 200
You got to
million.
go prove to be playoff P.
I think that's
not podcast P. The podcast P better than playoff P.
You're saying this, we're losing as a team, and you guys are sitting here saying,
it's you.
45 minutes podcast in a week.
No, it's not it. That's not it.
It's you.
That's not it, Gil. That's not, and you know that's not it.
We're
saying when we're losing and you out here entertaining the folks while we like, yo, our leader not even locked in. Look at him.
No, our leader's
He's not locked in.
Our leader's eating hamburgers.
Then our other young fella, he TikToking. He's not setting an example. He think it's cool. It's cool.
That's crazy. One generation is TikToking, the other one is podcasting.
But you tell me why his performances are his performances then. If you could tell me that it ain't the production, then tell me.
Are you saying what it's saying? It's saying he plays better podcasting.
It did.
So let's, then it goes against what you're saying.
Well, I'm saying if he's not podcasting and he's not playing good, why are you not playing good?
You know what? He probably miss home.
Probably
being in LA.
Probably miss home.
So I'm on here.
Hell yeah.
So why you?
Man, why the fuck all these LA dudes always say miss LA? He ain't home. I don't see any other player from a different state having the same thing. I don't see Texas guys saying, oh, we miss being in Texas. Or I don't see New York guys saying, well, we miss being in New York. Or same thing in Florida. It's always the LA born players saying, oh, he's not home. He's not in LA. What is this bullshit excuse?
Excuse. I asked a good question and all I get is excuse.
Because we don't know.
We don't know.
You don't know. But we know. We know. Y'all don't want to say.
No.
But we all know.
So we're gonna do it. We're gonna do it that favors him.
All right, yeah, podcast.
Hey, you should keep podcasting.
Yep.
You should do more podcasting. You drop 3 podcasts a week, so your numbers stay high. I mean, that's what his numbers say.
Then he would be on that Gil's Arena or close to that Gil's Arena schedule.
I'm just saying, these are what's the name? Because if they drop every Monday, that has nothing to do with when he recorded it. We don't know when he recorded it. We don't know what his numbers are on day of recording or the day after recording.
Hey,
we just
Paul.
know he drops every Monday.
Hey, Paul, you're being a team distraction.
Oh, my.
He is being a distraction, but he's being a distraction for the 76ers. This is an organization that is very sensitive about the media and their relationship with it. What kind of information gets out about the organization and what's going on internally. There's a lot of scenarios we could always refer back to. A lot of the Ben Simmons fiascos, whether it be his injury or just him not being part of the team for certain moments, his contract situation, or his arguments with Doc Rivers, the situation with Jimmy Butler. A lot of that stuff, the 76ers organization kept it real tight on what kind of information gets out of the locker room to the media. They've always been very sensitive about that. Even Markelle Fultz and some of the injury issues that he had, they kind of kept him under wraps from talking to the media. So this is an organization historically that has always proven that they handled their relationship with the media with kid gloves. So to have a player that's podcasting every week and kind of letting it be known on what's going on internally it might not sit well with that organization.
You haven't heard that before?
Yes.
Yeah, okay, so what's so crazy about it?
That's crazy.
It's not. When you've heard it before, I've heard it before.
You heard it
we know
before,
where it comes.
Crazy.
We know why it
because
comes.
You
We
heard
know
it
it's
probably
crazy.
because you was dating
But
somebody.
we know it was crazy. We know it's crazy, right?
That's why I don't like
but
that
can we help it?
Wait, what?
I would stop doing it.
Can we help it?
They said I was, because I was dating Iggy, so
You wasn't focused.
Yeah.
Were you focused, Swaggy?
Yes.
Okay.
Sometimes.
Sometimes.
The chick was distracted.
I know you were going to
It was a distracting chick.
So much.
Now, interesting enough, right there, Rashad McCants pulled out that information out of Nick Young about dating a famous celebrity because even though he admitted he wasn't 100% focused, McCants had the same situation as he was one of the first NBA players to date a Kardashian. It wasn't Kim Kardashian, it was one of the sisters, the one that Lamar Odom got married to. But the Timberwolves had major issues with McCants and his off-the-court activities. They believe he wasn't as focused, and that hurt him from having a long career in the NBA.
The team has interviews set up for you, right?
Okay.
Right? Am I right?
Yeah, it's part of my contract.
Part of you? No, it's not.
Yes, it is, Gil. Yes, it is. It's part of your contract. It's written in that CBA that your players union agreed alongside with the owners.
Not interviews from the hotel. Interviews in the arena. What is the difference between that and his friend doing it for themselves?
Well, the team for one, and then also I could deny it if I want.
You could if you want. So when, you remember when Rudy won his Defensive Player of the Year?
Yep.
He was in his room, and he did a damn 40-something minute thing with TNT now. Right?
It's like 15 minutes.
What is the difference? NBA team practice, 11-1 is my obligation. You're telling me, and you want to tell these motherfucking people out here who's listening to us, from 1:01 p.m. 1:01 p.m. to 10 motherfucking 30 a.m. damn near 22 hours.
You ain't playing basketball.
Free time, you're telling me that per week, 45 minutes is a distraction because you guys see it.
Public perception.
But whatever
is
doing,
everything.
Whatever.
Once again, McCants is right. The public perception of it. Also, Gilbert Arenas, he's a West Coast guy. He does not understand the optics look bad for East Coast fans. They take their sports personally. When you see a player like Paul George, the way he's performing, he looks like a shell of himself. And he has a podcast every other week laughing it up while the team is losing and he's getting paid max dollars. The optics are definitely not good. And the 76ers are an organization that really don't talk too much. They've been well known in the past couple of years of actually hiding information from the media, i.e. Ben Simmons and Markelle Fultz.
Whatever I'm doing during that time is okay, as long as you don't see it.
Bro,
That's what I'm talking about.
so all the shit y'all was doing
That's
is
what I'm talking
okay.
about.
It's okay as long as we don't see it, right?
Long
So
as
we're
you
saying
don't see
public perception of the shit they did. If they happen to see y'all shit y'all was doing, you don't think they gonna judge y'all on the shit y'all doing? What you get judged on is what they see. You out there performing on a podcast, but you're not performing on the court. But you going 3 for 17, right? Go home.
Facts. McCants preaching right here. Going 3 for 17. You don't know what you're getting out of Paul George from night to night.
Go home, take a nap, bro.
Yo, Nick, if you're winning, listen, Nick, if you're winning, they don't care.
It's still a distraction.
It's still
What
a
is it?
distraction.
What, it's
Because you're
still
winning. Because you're winning.
win.
Yo, winning gives you more power, bro.
So if we go in the game and we perform to a level where you can't even question whether I'm prepared or not,
Now, say it
or
again.
what's a priority or not.
Say-
so when you say, look, what's going on with him out there? He
So
don't,
everybody
like,
gotta
you
have the
driving
same workout
and
as-
kicking. You're driving and kicking the guys who like, why are you driving and kicking to me? You Paul George.
So
Like,
you're not
go.
supposed to pass?
Can I ask you a
No, I'm
question?
just saying, like, you look at him and you say, man, you're supposed to be doing your thing, and you're looking at us like, why y'all not shooting?
And that exact scenario that Rashad McCants is speaking on, I'll include a link in the description below. I've done a game film on that with Paul George just not necessarily being that guy in the clutch for the 76ers. He just doesn't look like the same player. Age and years of wear and tear definitely have caught up with him. His legs definitely do not look the same. He doesn't have that same lift, sort of like Carmelo Anthony when he got to OKC. He kept pump faking and his legs just was never the same. And it's clear as day when you start seeing guys miss wide open mid-range jumpers.
Come
on, man.
Listen, this the thing, man.
Has anybody said anything about Jalen Brunson?
Yeah, no.
Yes,
No.
Yes.
Because
yes.
no.
Absolutely.
Jalen Brunson. Because Jalen Brunson is doing what Jalen Brunson do. So that's the problem with this.
Yeah.
That's the problem.
Draymond Green is a championship winning podcast.
So you got to be who you are in order to do it.
No, I don't like the idea that it's a weak thing to do to see something that we know is irrelevant to his performance, but we want to use it. So during the playoff, James Harden goes to Vegas, right?
He does.
He's filmed in Vegas, right? Motherfuckers is ready to write like motherfuckers.
During the playoffs.
In the playoffs.
During the playoffs.
And what did he do, Gil?
He came
in
out.
Vegas during the playoffs.
Think about what we're saying.
They were talking about him. They still was talking about him before.
Not podcast. He didn't podcast. He went to Vegas, had him a good time.
Pies and ass. That's what he was doing.
Came home, dropped what? 40 what?
45, I believe.
45 won a game. Not one motherfucker said the Vegas trip was a distraction.
And
you know why? Because what? He won. So that means the whole fucking trip is either going to be a distraction, period. It can't be a distraction. Only when you're doing that.
Hey, Gil, did they win the series? They did not win that series.
Bingo. There you go. They did not win that series. You see, some of these LA-born players, they can get away with that playing for certain teams like the Thunder, the Clippers. But when you start playing for the Celtics and the Knicks and the 76ers, good luck with that shit. Them fan bases are going to let you know you fucking up ASAP.
A series in which, in one game, James Harden went to Vegas.
And did they?
And they won that game in the series.
What was the headline?
But what is the public perception when you give ammunition for a headline? What is the headline gonna be if he don't go to Vegas?
They talking about
No. What's the headline gonna be if he don't go to Vegas?
It's still gonna be.
He dropped 45 without going to Vegas.
What was the headline?
What's the headline if he don't go to Vegas?
Don't go to Vegas. And do what?
If he doesn't go to Vegas, period. What's the headline?
There's no headline.
There's no headline.
They pretended that it didn't happen because he performed well.
They saying he might need the strip club.
But that's my problem.
So then if you don't go every time now and win, you should go to the second round, and this would be a habit for the team to know James needs to fly to Vegas.
But that's the
before
problem.
the game.
The problem, it should be a distraction either way. When Jordan was in Vegas, and then he came and hit the double nickel, whatever, against New York, and it was ready to kill him, but he balled out. You should kill him no matter what. You got to keep the energy on both sides of the what's the name.
They were killing Jordan that whole time. I believe he went down 0-2 in that series. Chicago, even though they're in the Midwest, that city and its fan base has the same aura of a New York, Philadelphia, and Boston. They take their basketball just as personal. Once again, guys like Paul George, they can get away with doing a podcast during a losing season when they play in cities like Houston, Sacramento, Minnesota, Charlotte, even Phoenix to a degree. But when you start talking about the Northeast, and I'm gonna throw Chicago into that mix, those fan bases are on a whole other level as far as how they attach their identity and personality to these teams. It's not the same, and there's a whole other level of expectation that comes along with it.
You can't look the other way.
Because you win.
If it's a bad habit, it's a bad habit.
You hear this shit?
I can do it. I can do it. You can't do it.
Because you can't
Some
win.
people can do it. You can't do it.
You gotta win doing it.
You can't win doing it. Like, that's just what it is.
And you definitely can't win doing it, but there were championship expectations for the Philadelphia 76ers to start the season. And unfortunately for them, they're in a very narrow window to capitalize off of Joel Embiid's prime years, and they went ahead and wasted another year, finishing the season with 24 wins and 58 losses. So that's why for that franchise and its fan base, it hurts almost twice as much. They're seeing their window of winning a championship with Embiid closing real fast. And for Paul George, he may have just realized, even though the contract was lucrative on the basketball side, his endeavors off the court, which will last him way past retirement, is now compromised due to the expectations of the city and the franchise. But we'll see how it plays out. He's definitely aging. His legs are showing it. And you guys definitely check out the link in the description below. I'll include that footage. You can see Paul George in those clutch situations without Embiid, and he looks like a shell of himself. So Draymond Green, aka Big Body Dre, is still on his fake apology tour for punching Jordan Poole in the face as he sat down with the fellas from the Pivot, and he reflected on the incident, but at the same time threw subtle jabs in Jordan Poole's direction. And he's done this before, as in the second part of this segment, we'll take a look at how he trolled Jordan Poole just last season alongside Baron Davis in his podcast. But first, we'll start off with Draymond Green reflecting on his come up into the NBA, just going through the amateur circuit, having fights with teammates, but still breaking bread at the end of the day. You guys check it out, and every once in a while, I'll check in.
It took me, still at age 33, 34, 35, I still learn those lessons. Because I'm into it with Keith Applin and Derek Nix come out of nowhere. I could take a punch. I ain't even see it. And ears go crazy. Get him out. Get the out of here. How dare you? You fucking soft as fuck. You come from the side. Put him out. And I'm in practice like, damn. They called me from the side, put him out. Yo, you're not putting him out of practice. Let me go in this locker room again. Yo, come back out here. We got to practice. And we move on. It just happened. We're not about to, like, what we doing? It's my teammate, fine. Like, yeah, you got me, we move on. And I've had a bunch of situations like that growing up. Sometimes I was the guy, sometimes I wasn't. Regardless, we move on. And so that's how I've always approached it. You know, and in college, freshman year, I'm talking to one of the OGs, Goran Sutan. I'm in my chair, sitting back like this, locker room. We'd have been going at it on the court, locker room. And he could feel it, like his locker right next to mine, he could feel it. I'm getting there, I'm like, all right, I'm about to get up, I'm about to get bruh. As I'm thinking that, as I try to get up, and I'm a freshman again, so this is a fifth-year senior, good luck. Like, right. As I'm trying to get up, he caught me in that chair, had me pinned down. Like, what you gonna do? And he on top of me. All right, we move on. Mm-hmm. So when that situation happened, I'm like, all right, cool, we move on. And then when we couldn't, I was like, huh? And for a while, it made me think like, man, this dude nothing like me.
See right there? When Draymond say shit like that, come on, man. You can't expect Jordan Poole to be accepting your apology. He ain't nothing like me. Yo, Draymond's something else.
Because when those things happen, you just move on. But it taught me so much. Because it taught me, you're right, he may not be like you. He ain't from where you from. The things you went through, the way you had to come up, he may not have came up like that.
And also Draymond, he wasn't in position. He was trying to earn his contract as a player that was selected in the second round, who's been previously demoted into being in the G League. You getting him on a sucker punch, and you already have earned your spot on the team, a high-paying contract. Jordan Poole did not have the leverage to start shit with you and to get physical, because his ass would be right on out. So you understood your position. It wasn't just about the sucker punch. You were at work. Jordan Poole at the time was trying to secure his future with his first big-time contract.
For that 5 seconds, I forgot where I was at, because I immediately went to what I know. But what you know don't really work here.
Yeah. And it don't work anywhere else, man. Draymond, that shit don't work anywhere else. You NBA, you professional, bro. That bullshit that he's always on has cost his team the finals in 2016. It cost him having a second run with Jordan Poole. It cost him Kevin Durant staying with the team. It didn't make no sense that he tried to bully Kevin Durant. At the end of the day, they lost a lot of their role players after that record-breaking 73-win season. That never gets talked about. They lost a lot of role players and they needed Kevin Durant. So Draymond not having his emotions in check has always been costly to the Warriors.
And everybody say, oh man, but you was 10 years in, you should know better. You're still learning, 9 years in. But it's them lessons like that that ultimately make me who I am to this day. Because, man, I fucked that up.
And he has definitely fucked that up, but does he have full regrets for the Jordan Poole situation? I don't know. Because just a few months before this interview, the last time Jordan Poole had faced the Warriors, when it was time for him to speak to the media, Poole let it be known that he had love for the players on the Warriors, but not love for certain guys. Quote unquote, he said, "I love most of the guys over there." And Draymond Green right away saw it as an opportunity to promote his podcast, and he let his true feelings be known. You guys check it out.
After the Washington Wizards game, Jordan Poole said, "I love those guys over there. I love most of those guys over there." And then you respond with a tweet that says,
I really am sorry.
"I really am sorry." Why did you respond to that?
I responded because, you know, like, it's been 3 years. Like, let's move on, you know?
Yeah, right. You responded because you saw a chance to promote your podcast. Why not insert yourself to the beef? That's the angle that Stephen A. Smith has taken upon himself. The situation with him and LeBron, where he talked about Bronny and how it played out at Staples Center. You see, media personalities in a lot of different industries are now inserting themselves into certain situations because they realize it gives them that visibility and it helps them to go viral. During the Drake and Kendrick Lamar beef, we've seen different online personalities that cover hip hop insert themselves into the beef, like DJ Academics. So this is a formula that a lot of online personalities are starting to do, and it's even taking place in the political portion of the media, where you see certain pundits are now inserting themselves to directly have conversation and go back and forth with the president. There's definitely a method to the madness.
Where's the love?
We moved on. Like, we're supposed to move on, man. I really am sorry.
Right.
Like, you know, it was that statement was kind of like it was kind of like it was looking for some sympathy. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
I kind of keep wanting to make me out to be the bad guy. Move on, bro. Like, it is what it is. I'm sorry. Like, I shouldn't have punched him. But you know, it happened. Like, let's move on, man. I even apologized to his parents because, you know, I got his dad popped off one time on the internet, and I went back at him because it was just like, bro, why you popping off? And I actually didn't like myself for it because I wasn't even on that. You know what I'm saying? I was like, I kind of let him get me off my square a little bit. Because I've said what I said about it, you know what I'm saying? Like, you know, I kind of go
It's
back.
over, bro.
Yeah, bro.
It's over.
You know, I be kind of going back and forth with this on, like, I be kind of in between on certain days, like, yo, I know I was wrong, but you can't call a man a B word and push him and not get hit either. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So I kind
That's
of
a cold
like,
word.
you know what I'm saying?
Come on, Draymond. Come on, Draymond. You sucker punched this dude. Even if you were jawing back and forth with just words, you guys are in a professional setting. You know Jordan Poole is a young player coming up, trying to earn his keep, and you had a much more powerful position than he did, and you use it to your leverage, knowing that he didn't really want to fight you. Who the hell wants to be known as a guy that's fighting one of the captains of the team while at the same time negotiating for a large long-term contract? It makes no sense.
I kind of sit in both of those spaces sometimes. And like, the reality is, the answer is probably somewhere in the middle, right? Like, I shouldn't have knocked him out like that. If anything, I should have hemmed him up. Kind of was just a natural reaction. So the reality is, like, I probably should have hemmed him up or something like that.
Yeah.
And so the answer probably in the middle.
Fact.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, after the fact.
You can tell that the Warriors are sick of Draymond Green's shit. We've never seen any footage ever leak prior to this incident of what's going on inside their facility. But the only footage to this day that leaked is Draymond Green sucker punching Jordan Poole. Again, only the Warriors organization have access to those tapes. So keep that in mind.
It happens.
It does.
It happens. It happens in practice when you're competitive. You have that competitive spirit. But at this point, you know, I really am sorry is another public apology to just move on. Like, okay, I get it. You know, I get how Jordan Poole feel. Okay, you know, he gonna love some of the dudes and he not.
That's fine.
Right. But that's fine too, you know. But it's over. it's over.
No, ain't gotta announce
It's
it.
over.
Like, I think the whole
You don't
world
want to
knows.
tie to your legacy. Like, it's not a legacy thing. This is not a part of like the legacy, you know? This is more so like some sidecar shit that's just a part of like
that part.
The brand.
You know what I'm saying? It's just a part of the brand. But like, I think for him though, like, you kind of bringing that back up on yourself. You know what I'm saying? Like when you do that, you just bring back that moment up on yourself. You know what I'm saying? Like, you just kind of got to move on and just keep it pushing, man. Stop.
Yeah, you gotta let it go. At some point, he gotta let it go, so he can get back to being who he is.
That part.
You know,
So,
and that's all it is.
That's it. You know.
Hey, it is what it is. Draymond Green telling Jordan Poole to let that shit go is crazy. After you sucker punched him in the face. But at the end of the day, Draymond Green really struggles with keeping his emotions in check, and it has cost the Warriors a lot during their whole run with Stephen Curry. The 2016 finals, Kevin Durant leaving because of Draymond Green constantly trying to control his actions and what he's doing, and the petty back and forths. And years later, when they strike gold and have a player that they actually developed come through their system, Draymond leverages his power over Poole and completely takes things over the top. So Draymond throughout his tenure has forced the Warriors to take alternative routes to keep this team competitive. So the Greek Freak, aka Giannis, continues to throw out mixed signals while making public appearances to make it look like he didn't get rid of Damian Lillard. They should call him the Greek Sneak. But in this segment, we're going to get right down to the details of how he and Milwaukee are in complete unison as the Bucks continue to make moves to try to put a championship team around Giannis, as he has been performing at an MVP level in the past couple of seasons. And on top of that, with the new acquisition of Miles Turner, they are paying him about $47 million a year when you factor in his own salary, the money that they owe to Damian Lillard when they had to stretch it out 5 years, paying $20 million. So combined, those two things come out to about $47 million. So at the end of the day, they didn't really save themselves from being caught up into any salary cap hell. Once again, they stretched that $100 million that Dame owed them for 5 more seasons to be on their books. And on top of that, they gave Miles Turner $27 million. So when you add those two up, it comes up to $47 million. And they sacrificed all those draft picks to acquire Dame just to waive him. So they don't have any of their first round draft picks until 2031. That's why I say Giannis and the Bucks, they definitely are in unison. But now Giannis is going into damage control as he continues to throw out the mixed signals, as he showed up at iShowSpeed's live stream, and he threw out a fake level of uncertainty when it comes to him being in Milwaukee, knowing that the media would pick this up. You guys check it out.
LA, the tax is bad. New York, tax is bad.
Yeah.
Hell no.
A lot of people have tried to convince me to go and play there and stuff.
Oh no. So you staying in Milwaukee?
Probably. We'll see. See. Probably. I love Milwaukee.
Again, Giannis being on iShowSpeed's live stream knows that everything they're doing is being recorded in real time. So his mannerisms, the way he kind of put those reflections in his voice, Giannis is a good actor. But the real Giannis is who we saw in the playoffs when he grabbed Ben Mathurin by the back of his neck. And also when he got into that back and forth with Tyrese Halliburton's father. That's the real Giannis. And right now he's going into damage control, trying to control the optics. Because Ramona Shelburne, as soon as Dame got traded, she stated that Giannis had to have known about this because he knew about the Miles Turner deal. And then Damian Lillard, underneath that post, had put up a moving video of a head nod. So again, Giannis is definitely going into cruise control. And check out how Chris Haynes reported on Giannis's feelings as soon as the Dame trade went down.
Sources that relate to me that Giannis Antetokounmpo is not pleased with the Bucks' decision to buy out Damian Lillard for the remainder of his contract, and he just didn't like how it was handled. And so, you know, Giannis, this whole offseason, since the season ended, he's been, you know, weighing his options and trying to figure out what he is going to do, trying to navigate his future. And this is just one more thing added to the equation in which he's seeing that there are some, suspect things happening or the way that they are happening. And so I was told that he is not pleased with what transpired with Damian Lillard.
Again, for those of you that are watching the visual version, as we pull up the cap sheet, it would only make sense if he already knew about the Miles Turner deal, that Dame would have to go off the books, or else they'll be so deep into the luxury tax, it just wouldn't make financial sense. Giannis has definitely been on the MVP level for the past couple seasons, and it's obvious that he doesn't want to waste another year of his prime just not being relevant with Dame being out with that Achilles injury. So he had to fall to the wayside. And it's unfortunate for Dame because this is a very vulnerable time in his career. He was already known for not being a great defender. He's an aging guard, and just coming off that Achilles injury is not going to really be conducive to competing for a championship on the level that Giannis wants to be at. But it is what it is. Giannis, make no mistake about it, he's not going anywhere. Milwaukee is fully committed to him. They sacrificed so many first-round draft picks just to give him exactly what he wants. They're definitely in lockstep together. And for Damian Lillard, it's a feel-good story. He gets to go back to Portland. He gets his money. And at the end of the day, both parties get to put a bow tie on this situation. But this is not going to be the last time we're going to hear about what really went down in Milwaukee, because the real sentiments coming from Dame and Giannis is eventually going to spill, especially in the current media environment that we're all in. So it is what it is. You guys definitely hit up the link in the description below. Hit up the playlist. We got other NBA stories. Also check out some of the game film clips and tap in with any mailbag questions. Until next time, you fellas, stay safe. Peace.